The Galactic Military Academy's registration gate hummed with activity as thousands of cadets from across known space queued for processing. Jihan stood behind Akeem in line, watching her friend's shoulders tense as the Vorthak cadets ahead of them turned around with predatory grins. "Look what we have here," sneered Zextal, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the artificial light. "A mud dweller from the backwater systems." Akeem kept his eyes forward, but Jihan could see his jaw clench. The human was unremarkable by galactic standards. Average height, no natural armor, no enhanced appendages, no psychic abilities. Just flesh and bone wrapped in the standard academy uniform. "I heard they crawled out of their gravity well only 3 cycles ago." Another Vorthak chimed in, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "Probably still thinks kinetic weapons are cutting-edge technology." The crowd of alien cadets erupted in laughter. Jihan, a Sarathi with natural telepathic abilities, felt the waves of mockery washing over them. Her species had been part of the galactic community for over 2 millennia, serving as diplomats and mediators. She'd never seen such blatant discrimination before. "Ignore them," she whispered to Akeem, her melodic voice barely audible above the crowd's noise. Akeem nodded but said nothing. This was his dream, the first human ever accepted into the Galactic Military Academy. Earth's government had fought for years to secure him this opportunity, hoping to prove humanity belonged among the stars. When they finally reached the scanner, the administrative AI's mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. "Next candidate, please step forward." Akeem approached the glowing archway. The scanner's beam swept over his body, analyzing his genetic structure, physical capabilities, and species origin. For a moment, the machine hummed quietly. Then, unexpectedly, warning lights began flashing red throughout the registration hall. "Alert," the AI announced in a tone that silenced every conversation. "Origin, Earth, classification, Death World, recommendation, handle with extreme caution." The chamber fell dead silent. Even the Vorthak cadets' mandibles stopped clicking. Commander Thylex, a towering Krelian with 6 arms, approached the scanner with confusion evident in his multifaceted eyes. "AI, explain the classification." "Subject originates from Sol 3, designation Earth," the AI continued in its emotionless voice. "Planetary classification, Class 12 Death World. Gravity 1.2 times galactic standard. Atmospheric composition, 21% oxygen, highly combustible. Weather systems, Category 5 hurricanes, tornadoes, electrical storms. Geological activity, active tectonics, volcanic systems, magnetic field fluctuations." The AI paused before continuing its analysis. Subject's species evolved as persistence hunters on a world where 99.9% of all species that ever existed are extinct. Endurance capabilities exceed galactic norms by factor of 8. Pain tolerance extreme. Stress response, adrenaline-based combat enhancement. Psychological profile, capable of functioning under conditions that would incapacitate most galactic species. Commander Thylex's primary arms crossed over his chest. Continue. Additional factors. Species demonstrates pack bonding behavior with any perceived ally, regardless of species. Historical records indicate capability for total warfare when sufficiently motivated. Recommendation stands, handle with extreme caution. Akeem stood motionless in the scanner's archway, acutely aware that hundreds of alien eyes were now staring at him with a mixture of fear and newfound respect. The same cadets who had mocked him minutes earlier were now stepping backward. Jihan felt the shift in the telepathic atmosphere around them. Where there had been mockery and dismissal, now there was wariness and something approaching awe. "Well then," Commander Thylex said, his voice carrying across the silent hall, "it appears we have our first Terran cadet, Akeem Hassan of Earth. Welcome to the Galactic Military Academy." As Akeem stepped through the scanner, Jihan noticed how differently the other cadets looked at him now. The Vorthak who had been taunting him earlier were maintaining a respectful distance. Their earlier bravado completely evaporated. "Next candidate," the AI announced, returning to its normal operational tone. Jihan approached the scanner, but her attention remained on Akeem. As a telepath, she could sense the complex emotions swirling through the chamber: fear, curiosity, respect, and something else. Recognition, perhaps, that they were witnessing history. During the following weeks of basic training, Jihan watched as her friend consistently exceeded every physical and mental challenge the Academy threw at them. While other cadets collapsed from exhaustion during the endurance trials, Akeem kept running. When the psychological warfare simulations broke the spirits of seasoned warriors, the human adapted and overcame. But it wasn't just his individual performance that impressed their instructors. Akeem had an uncanny ability to rally his squad, to push his teammates beyond their perceived limitations. His species' pack-bonding instincts, as the AI had termed it, transformed every group he joined into a cohesive fighting unit. The same Vorthak cadets who had mocked him at the gate now sought his partnership during tactical exercises. They had learned what Jihan had known from the beginning, that sometimes the most dangerous opponents are those who don't look dangerous at all. Years later, when Captain Akeem Hassan led the first joint human-alien task force in the Outer Rim conflicts, the galaxy would remember the day a simple scanner reading changed everything. But Jihan would always remember the quiet dignity with which her friend had endured those first moments of mockery, never knowing that he carried the reputation of an entire death world on his shoulders. The gate that day had been more than just a scanner. It had been humanity's introduction to the galaxy, and the galaxy's first warning about what Earth's children were capable of achieving.